Hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of the Abundant Accountant Podcast. So welcome. Let me just start my LinkedIn. Pray to God I don't spill this water everywhere. So today we are talking about a very important topic, but let me make sure just my audio is recording on this thing. You can hear me good? Yeah? All right. By the way, do you like my cup? Good things come to those who hustle.
That's a giant cup.
I know. I've been drinking a lot of water. I'm not feeling the greatest today. So, all right, here we go. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. It is awesome to have you here with us. I am here with myself and my partner in crime, Denise. Welcome, Denise, to the show.
Hey.
It is awesome to have you here, and I am just looking for my slides, but I can't find them. So anyway, welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where, accountants come to learn all the ways they can grow your firm. I'm sure you've heard that before, but I like it because it rhymes and it's one of those things that I can understand and remember. So we are talking today about how to pitch your skills being a CPA, being an accountant, being a bookkeeper, whichever ones that resonates with you, without being too technical, right? Isn't that what we're doing today, Denise?
That is because we hear these accounting professionals getting all technical and we're like, deer in the headlights, glazed over.
Right? Deer in the headlights, glazed over. And Denise and I, it's really funny because this past week, actually, we went over this topic in our class. So if you're a CPA, accountant, bookkeeper listening to the Abundant Accountant Podcast, which I think you all are, as you may know or have heard, if not, I'll let you know right now, we have an 8-week course where we teach you how to really convert better, increase revenue, think of things that you've never maybe thought of before. And literally we hear this question at least once a month, right, Denise? Like, how do I make an elevator pitch without having my client's eyes like glazed over? And I feel like this past week, my eyes were kind of glazing over once we heard a couple of them. But once we made some tweaks, it was a lot better. So we've got some real-time stories that we're going to be able to share with you today on how do you make it make sense, right? With all of your extensive knowledge, with all of your degrees, all of the awesome things that you have, but not make it too accounting-ish, but more so for the normal person, business owner, entrepreneur to really understand. And the way that you express what it is that you do can literally make or break your next new client. Like literally, or if you're at a networking event, or if you're like one of our clients, Mike, he went to Brendan Burchard's event this last week. And when you go and explain what you do to a high, performing entrepreneur or business owner, you need to speak to them in order to catch their attention on the emotional level. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the 5 actionable steps that you can do to create a winning elevator pitch that anyone can really understand. And you don't really have to call it an elevator pitch if you don't like that word. But how do you answer the question, what is it that you do, without saying, I'm a CPA, I'm a bookkeeper, I am an enrolled agent, or I'm an accountant. So whichever one, you are, we hope that by the end of today, you'll have a little bit more insight on what can you say to someone when they say what it is that you do, or how can you help and serve someone. So that's what's on deck today. So Denise and I are going to give you some examples. We're going to give you some stories because literally we just talked about this in our class this week. So it was extremely relevant. And
it was eye-opening, I would say, to many of our students.
It was definitely eye-opening to our students, and it was definitely eye-opening to me, because this is an area that I believe each of you, if you work on it just a little bit and give it just a little bit of energy, you're going to differentiate yourself from so many other CPAs, accountants, and bookkeepers out there, because most, from what I've learned, answer it all the same way. And there's nothing unique about it speaking to me. There's nothing unique about it speaking to me being, who your client is. and remembering that this is always about your client. It literally has nothing to do with you. So what, Denise, what is an elevator pitch, like from your point of view?
Well, it's your opportunity to connect with someone and start building a relationship with them from the first, 10, 15, 30 seconds that you meet someone, to really give your first impression, because that's going to set the tone whether you're going to even have a relationship with somebody, or they could be a potential client or a potential referral source even for you.
Yeah. And it's also, we like to say maybe 30 seconds or less. And it's really about your service and how you can help the other client after you pique their interest. And I say the pique the interest part because that's the most important part. And did you know this fun fact, Denise? I don't know if you've heard about this before, or each of you listening today, but this phrase of elevator pitch, I was always wondering, like, where did it come from? It came from like when movie editors and movie executives would meet in the elevators of the buildings, they would call it the elevator pitch of like what they were doing in the movies. So I thought that was really interesting. So a little tad of history for you today.
Yeah, you got to catch that producer's ear. Like, you have
right?
30 seconds,
you have
right?
30
Yeah.
seconds to share, what kind of movie you're going to have or what kind of TV show, right? Like there's every movie on earth, and Hollywood's a little oversaturated if you ask me. It's like if you think about it and you go to the movies, do the movies that you see ever really drastically change? Not a whole lot. So if you're going to be pitching a new movie, it's got to really stand out to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me think of I Love Lucy, like that something Lucy would do, right?
Right. So, let's talk about a few ideas on what the elevator pitches could be used for, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple ideas. Denise is going to give you a couple ideas. You can grab a pen and paper if you want and write it down. But an elevator pitch should be used if you're going to a networking event and if you want to make an impression on someone that lasts and that resonates with them. Not with you, but actually resonates with them, and they say, wow, like I want to talk to Michelle and Denise. They were amazing. I don't understand how they do what they do, right? Like that's the kind of impression you want. Denise, what's another way?
It helps you when you really have a memorable, like, first, like, impression of who you are, what you do. It's like they're going to keep thinking about you long after, right? They're going to go, wow. So it's really, if you have it really laid out well, then it's going to make a lasting impression. And not only will they remember you, but they're going to be talking about you to other people too.
Right. So it's the impression that lasts, and then it's like the domino effect when you stack a bunch of dominoes and then you tip the first one over and they all start flying down. It's like that. It's like they're going to want to tell someone else, right? So it's almost like you get a referral before you even know it. And this really allows your future prospect that you might even not understand that you have a future client in front of you, but you do, that this could lead to your first client. It could lead to your first discovery meeting with a new client. It could lead to your first appointment. I think even with our example of Mike from our class, he said that he got a $25,000 litigation case just by going to an event and saying what it is that he does in a way that perked that person's interest, right? And I mean, if you can go to one event and get one client, that's a pretty significant return on investment, I would say.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, of course, that doesn't happen all the time. So don't think that that's going to happen, but it does open the door to future potential leads and clients. So step number 1 in what to say to a client. Okay. So let's talk about this, because this was the part that was like the aha moment for me this past Monday. Most of you might say, if someone says to you, what is it that you do? You say, I provide accounting CPA services to small businesses to help them with their cash flow and, help them make sure they have enough money to pay their taxes every quarter. That's maybe what some of you might say, right? Denise, did we hear something else the other day?
We heard stuff like that. We heard, I help clients with tax reduction strategies. What does that even mean? I don't know, right?
Right? So as a consumer, as the client, which Denise and I are to each of you, to each of you who are listening today, a different way to maybe put it so it perks my ears, right? Because it's all about, if you can just think of this today, if you don't remember anything else about what we talk about today, what if you just say, I help small business owners who are sick of having the same bottom line year and year again and having to overpay their taxes to Uncle Sam? Well, to me, that speaks volumes because I say, well, yes, I am sick of having the same net income. Does that mean you can help increase my revenue or decrease my expenses and increase my profitability? And that I pay too much money to Uncle Sam every single year. Now you're speaking to my emotion. You're speaking to the emotion of the business owner, right? Denise, what was another good one after we made a few tweaks this last week, just on that first sentence? So if all you do is change that, then you're speaking to the emotion of the person who you want to help and serve.
Yeah, what was one of them was like, oh, I work with business owners that are just so tired of getting hammered and feeling like they're working so hard all the time and just not really getting anywhere. I help them grow their business and put things in perspective so they can have balance in their life and, go on vacations and enjoy their family.
Yeah. So what's a way we could change that? So we're just talking about a real simple shift for each of you listening that you can change and implement today. Nothing too crazy,
Yeah.
nothing too technical. So the first part could be, I help business owners get off the cash flow hamster wheel where you can't ever continuously make payroll every, the first and the 15th of every month, or, just use one word as a descriptive. I'm just giving you the backstory to it. But I help business owners get off the cash flow hamster wheel. Wow. You're a lot different now. You didn't say you were a CPA. You didn't say you were an accountant. But the first example that Denise and I shared is just too technical. And the other one evokes some emotion. And that's really the first step in whatever kind of elevator pitch that you're going to do. What can you do to evoke some emotion that resonates with people?
Yeah, and just, also how many of you have, when somebody asks you, what do, you say, oh, yeah, I'm a CPA, I'm an accountant. Oh, I already have one of those. I have somebody doing my taxes already. Like they already have in their mind what they think you do. They think you do.
Right.
So that's like a big pitfall that we see over and over again. Because then they don't really know what you do anyway. So just a
Right.
thought.
They don't. And a lot of us assume, right? So we want to stop assuming and just know that, again, it's about making a good impression, having it be memorable. So something that's memorable is something funny, something a little off the wall. That's okay. Something a little out there. Like if someone were ever to tell you that was a little bit out there. Yeah. That's good because that's what will make it more memorable. So that is step one for you to implement today. Let's get into step number 2 because I know each of you likes some structure. So here on the Abundant Accountant podcast, we do try to keep it slightly structured for you, but not too much because we want to steer away a little bit so you try something on, so try something new. But remember that your potential client standing in front of you only cares about the solution to their problems. They don't really care how you get there, right? They don't really care what form you're going to fill out. So we want to speak to their problems. So if you're helping someone get off the cash flow hamster wheel, that's a problem. Correct? Or if you're helping someone, what was my first example? I need to think of a new one, but let's just use the hamster wheel one because I forgot what I said earlier. But But Denise, what's another one? We're speaking to the problems that your future client is having when you're meeting them on the elevator or at the event.
Let's see, what's another one? So I help business owners know their numbers so that they can make really great decisions about their business.
What's one that creates more motion to that?
So that they can, let's see, so that they can not only make great decisions about their business, but be able to, uh, hire better employees and pay them more, have more benefits for themselves and their employees.
Yeah, or a lot of business owners don't want to work as much. So you could just say, have more money to hire the people so you don't have to do the work, right? Or something like that. Again, instead of starting with, I provide accounting services, or I provide CPA services, or I'm an accountant, I do taxes, payroll, and bookkeeping. I get why you might say that, but what if you changed it and just say, I help small businesses, so maybe you only help construction companies, right? We've worked with some people that do that. I work with construction company owners who are sick of having the same bottom line year over year. And that's what you do, and that's what you say. Even if you just got that part down from today, you're going to be million steps ahead of anyone else. So give that a try, and remember that, again, we're not pitching solutions, or we're not pitching services. We're pitching solutions to people's problems. And the solution part is going to be the next part. So step number 3 is position yourself as the expert. So now this is where you get to say what you do.
Sorry.
So positioning yourself as the expert and that you are the problem solver, because each of you is a great problem solver. You're all very intelligent, which is why we love to work with you. And, it's not just an extension of I do taxes or I do payroll. It's really about sharing your expertise and showing your clients like real life examples of how you can help them do that. So examples, you could add something like this. So you can reduce your expenses and cost of doing business to free up money to hire that CEO so you don't have to do all the work. Or you can help them reinvest and make more money so you can fund your retirement. There are so many businesses and business owners that have this much in retirement, and this is zero. I hear it all the time speaking to accountingpreneurs all day who have no retirement. Well, your clients are not any different. So what if you were able to actually insert that in sharing what it is that you do? Now, you're not showing them how, but you're helping them get to the solution of their problem. So if their problem, and we speak in generalities to problems, I like to say pick one or two for the purposes of today. But that's a great opportunity. Or you can help them save money on taxes, right? So they can use that to fund their business.
Yeah, maybe they need more inventory. Maybe they're always like, their shelves aren't stocked enough or something like that. So they're losing money or they're losing opportunities that they could, they could easily, if with your help, they could easily solve that problem.
Yep. Or you could actually say, and a lot of our accountants on the other day were asking me, Michelle, so when I talk about the problem and I share the solution, it's basically saying the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it actually is. So you can say, going back to the example earlier, okay, we'll just use the one that I was sharing earlier. I help small business owners who are sick of having the same bottom line over and over and over again have consistent cash flow so you never are on the hamster wheel ever again. Right? So I said that you help fix cash flow, which a lot of you do, especially for some of you that are doing like profit first stuff or anything like that with Ron and those guys. You help people fix their cash flow, but we're not going to tell them how. and we're just going to speak to what their problem is, and that's really what you're able to help solve. Got it? So that's the third part. So the third part, again, position yourself as the expert. This is where you can share the technical skill that you're going to solve for your client. Got it? Denise, any other good ideas for that one?
No, I think we're hitting it right on the head here,
Okay.
right?
Well, what's the fourth thing we need to do, Denise?
You gotta practice. You gotta practice. Don't wing it, like write it out, think about this. Think about your best clients. Think about who you really want to work with and what the problems have been in their businesses or individuals. Maybe you have high net worth individuals that you're working with. Really think about like what are some of the things? Why do they really need you? Why do they really need your help? And then, kind of write it out and then practice it with a few people, practice it 10 times, practice it 100 times, so that when you do have a conversation and somebody asks you, hey, what do you do? It just kind of rolls off your tongue. You could be in the supermarket. You could be at a networking event. You could be at an event where you're learning something with a room full of people that are exactly the type of people that you want to gain their business. So when it comes easily and smoothly, and you're confident about it, that's really attractive too.
Yeah, and the bonus to add to this whole thing is at the end, say, how can I help and serve you? Right? Because if we don't even ask that at the end, then what good does it do for anybody? We actually have to, just like in sales, how we talk about it here on the Abundant Accountant podcast, we do need to ask for the sale, and we do need to ask, how can we help you?
Yeah.
That's literally all you're doing, and then you just listen. So we're keeping
Well,
it real basic. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, another thing you could say is something like, so I'd love to hear about, what are some of the challenges you're dealing with in your business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
You want
another
to
good
get
one.
them talking, right?
What other ways can they ask to get them talking?
So tell me, you can refer back to the problem you just said. And so tell me, have you experienced these problems, or is there anyone you know that I could help?
Yep.
Just that simple.
So after that, after you ask your question, right? So you say what you do in a non-technical form. We're evoking some emotion. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. I'm sharing with you like the simple one, like we're doing a 2-sentence elevator pitch here. Very, very, very basic, but very minute changes to change up. I'm a CPA and I help businesses manage their cash flow and reduce their taxes. Like we're just making it a little bit more fun, but where the other person on the other end can attach to it. So one of the next things, step 5, is be ready for some questions, right? Because when you ask, how can I help and serve you? A lot of people are going to ask and get curious, right? So expect curiosity, expect questions. When you're meeting someone for the first time in the first few seconds, like we're talking about, you don't have any trust yet, right? So one of the things to building trust is working on that business relationship and the business rapport. And rapport is literally just trust put together with comfort, right? So in order to do that, we need to communicate, and I would bring your personality into it. So just try to be fun. And if someone really truly wants to know more and get to know you, they will start asking you questions. So be ready to answer questions after they ask it. Okay? So here is another example that I want to share. And Denise, if you want, we can do this one together. We can role play it, okay? So Denise and I are going to role play. Denise will pretend she just met me at Tony Robbins. We were at Tony Robbins together, and she met me, and I am the CPA, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So Michelle, tell me more about you. What do you do?
Oh, well, I'm so happy that you asked me what I do. And I help really successful business owners like you who do $500,000 or more in revenue actually see the fruits for their labor reflected in their bank accounts. Because a lot of times I hear you work so much, but you never can see that, the fruits of your labor. So I'm curious, how could I help and serve you?
Wow, you could help me put more in my bank account? How do you do that? I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, well, what I do is I help you find money that you already had in your business. You just didn't realize it. So you can enjoy the fruits of your labor and actually start saving for some retirement.
Oof. Okay, that sounds good. When can we talk about this some more?
Well, I know we're at Tony Robbins, so I would love to schedule an appointment so we can talk. We can do it on video or Zoom next week when we get back. Does Tuesday or Wednesday work best for you?
Oh, Wednesday would be fabulous.
Okay, on Wednesday, I can do 10 a.m. Pacific or noon Pacific. What time is best for you?
Let's do noon.
Noon? Okay. I'm going to get my phone out right now. I'm going to get your name. Now, I already know your name, Denise, but I want to get your phone number and your email, and I'm going to send you a calendar appointment right now. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
All right,
Yep,
awesome. So I got your name, I got your phone number, I got your email. I just sent you the calendar appointment. Did you get it?
I got it.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to talk more about this, but let's enjoy Tony Robbins. So let's go back in. What do you say?
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
All right. That is the 2-sentence elevator pitch. It was very short. We go way more in depth in our course on that. But, even if you just change up 1 or 2 sentences, do you see the difference? Right? So Denise, how did
I
that
don't even know
feel?
that you're a CPA. You didn't even say that.
I didn't even say I was a CPA because at the end of the day, at this part of the game, it doesn't really matter, right? Because they're going to go search you. They're going to look at your LinkedIn. They're going to look at your website when you send them the email, and in your signature, you have your website. So they're going to see all of that.
Love it.
Okay. Shall we do one more?
Do we have time? Can we do one more?
Let's do one more. Denise, I can be the accountant again. I'll be a tax planning CPA expert.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're at a CPA, or no, we're at a, we're
The
at a
Chamber
real,
of Commerce.
we're at a real estate convention with a bunch
Oh,
of
okay.
real estate investors.
Oh,
Because
okay,
if you're
good.
a CPA and you're looking to work with real estate investors, what's the best place to go to? Where real
Yeah.
estate investors hang out, and then you can be prepared to answer what they ask. And I know a lot of you work with real estate investors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Michelle, it's nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Oh, well, funny you should ask. It's so nice to meet you, Denise. And I work with real estate investors just like you that are doing over $1 million in their business so they can save a ton of money and keep it in their pockets with audit-proof legal strategies. I'm curious, how can I support you today?
Wow. So I don't, I'm not at that $1 million mark yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working
Oh,
on it.
okay.
Can you help me get there?
Oh, we can definitely talk about that. We can schedule an appointment. Do you mind if I ask, how large is your business? What was your revenue last year?
I did just about a 500,000.
A 500,000. Got it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely. We can definitely keep in touch, and there might be some opportunities that I can support you with. But just so you know, I am looking and working with people that are over that $1 million mark because there are some really great legal audit proof strategies that work for them, that you're going to definitely be able to take advantage of. Do you know
Well, maybe,
do you maybe know someone who's in that
yeah,
range?
maybe my mentor. You should talk to my mentor. His name's Dan.
Dan.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
I'm happy to. He's here. I'll introduce you to him.
Okay, yeah. So I'll meet Dan and you and I will keep in touch. I would love to connect with you next week anyway, because you are at that $500,000 mark and there's a lot of opportunities that could be done for you. When we get back from this real estate investor conference, does next Tuesday or Wednesday work best for you to connect?
I think, yeah, Tuesday probably is best.
Okay, Tuesday. Got it. Well, I can do 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock Pacific, which is best.
4 o'clock better.
Four
Yeah.
o'clock. Okay. And when you grab Dan, you can share with him that I really help real estate investors like you and him find the money that you didn't already know like you had in your business so that you can use it to really fund your retirement and be able to reinvest it in more properties. So make sure to pass that message on to him. And I can't wait to meet him and talk to you next week when we leave this conference.
Awesome. Awesome. I can't wait to learn more, about how you do all this stuff. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. All right. So those are some examples. Okay. I think it was really helpful so you could hear the role playing. But again, really what is going to set you apart from all of the other accountants and bookkeepers and CPAs out there? And if you just change that one sentence, it makes the biggest difference. And, think about also, I was talking to real estate investors in that example that are doing $1 million or above. The more you niche down on who you're speaking to, the more Dans you're going to find, right? Like Denise automatically said, oh, my mentor Dan. And the light bulbs will go on in your future clients' heads based on what you say to them and who resonates with them. So make sure to keep that in mind, and hopefully you can put some of this into action today. So that is our goal for you, is to create or edit what you have, because I know a lot of you have something. Your elevator pitch or elevator sentence, we could call this, because this is a short version, with the 5 steps, and then practice, practice, practice. And if you can, I will share it on a future episode if you email it to me. So email me your elevator sentences or pitches to hello@thepitchqueen.com, and I will share it on a future episode. Denise, any closing words before we wrap up today?
Awesome. So, just a little tip there, right? So maybe you noticed that because Michelle was being so specific, that also prevented her from going down a trail with someone that really isn't somebody she wants to have as a client. So this can be a screening tool for you too, if you do it the right way, right? So
Yes.
just thought I'd throw that in there.
Very good point, Denise, because we know that by talking to a lot of you, and we work with so many accountants, that there's a lot of you that have a lot of clients that you don't want to be working with right now. So this will help avoid having all of the clients you don't truly want to work with. And this will help you attract more of the people who you do want to work with. So we want to just thank you all so much for being here with us today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It was an honor to have you, and thank you, Denise, for joining me.
Sure. Love it.
All right. Until next time, have an amazing rest of your day. Okay, did I finish? Is it ended? Okay, I think we're good there. All right, Facebook, I don't know if there were questions, but hopefully if you have a business, that should, work for you too. Doesn't matter if you're an accountant or whatever, it works for any business. Same thing. You're not a contractor. You have to put in something that your client's problems and it alludes to their emotions. So I'll leave it with that. Have a great night. I'll see you all later. Oops. Okay. Oh, we're still going there.